Okay, it's exactly 12 noon EST. Welcome everyone to the Certificate in Law information session. My name is Christina Asperilla and I will be the moderator for today's session. Before we start, I would just like to remind people of some housekeeping rules. So we have the Q&A box enabled and you can type in your questions there. We will be answering the questions at the end of the session. Also, this session is being recorded and we will be sending an email with a recording of the session. So with that, let's start the session. So I would like to introduce the speakers for today's session. We have Hugo Choquette, the Academic Director of Certificate in Law. We also have Amanda Blair, the Program Coordinator of Certificate in Law. And we have Lisa Latour-Colby, a Certificate in Law student who will be sharing her experience in the program. We will be giving you a brief overview of the program, so please watch this video.
The Queen's Certificate in Law is Canada's only online program designed to provide everybody with an introductory legal education covering many areas of law. Whether you're interested in pursuing law school, sharpening your professional skills, or just gaining knowledge, the Certificate in Law is right for you. The Queen's Certificate in Law offers 7 courses, including Introduction to Canadian Law, Corporate Law, Aboriginal Law, Workplace Law, Public and Constitutional Law, Intellectual Property, and International Law. Successful completion of 4 courses will grant you a certificate from Queen's University. You can also just take 1 or 2 courses that interest you. To find out more about the Queen's Certificate in Law, visit takelaw.ca.
We now have Hugo Choquette, who will talk more about the Certificate in Law program.
Thank you very much, Christina. Good afternoon, everyone, and welcome. Thank you for joining us today. I'm going to try to keep it brief so that we can have lots of time for questions as well. So welcome to the session, and I want to say, that the Certificate in Law, is the first program of its kind to be offered by a faculty of law in Canada. And one of the advantages of that, of course, is that your instructors are all subject matter experts in the fields of law that they teach. But it's also that you'd get to join the Faculty of Law, the Queen's Law family in a way. And as you can see here, there's some of the advantages on screen of Queen's Law. We have students and alumni all over the world. And you become part of that family, as I said, when you join the program as part of the Certificate in Law. So it's another way that taking the Certificate in Law from Queen's Law is a great advantage to you. Next slide, please, Christina. So the Certificate in Law is designed for a wide variety of students, and I'll talk shortly about who our students are. But the key to the design of the program is really convenience and flexibility. So pretty much all of our courses are online. There's only our 1 course, Introduction to Canadian Law, that we offer in an on-campus version. And they're really designed for you as an online learner to be able to do the courses on your own timeline. You can finish the requirements, in as short a time period as you want. You can do it in 2 terms if you want to take 2 courses in each term, or 2 years. It's really about your ability to take on the courses. And you need 4 courses, of course, to complete the certificate. Even the final exams are offered online, so I wanted to point that out. In terms of the actual courses that we offer, this is the list of courses we offer, as we said in the video: Introduction to Canadian Law, Aboriginal Law, Workplace Law, Corporate Law, Public and Constitutional Law, Intellectual Property, and International Law. And these are all very important areas of law, of course, but also areas that are extremely important for good understanding of current topics, and also that might be very useful to you in whatever career path you choose. Workplace law, for example, is useful to anyone who's going to be, going into any kind of workplace, really. But courses like intellectual property law might appeal to you if you're in the creative, domain, or you're even in engineering, for example. So we offer a variety of courses that are meant to cater to various interests for our students. Next slide. Yep. why take the certificate? Well, there's a number of reasons why you might want to take the certificate. The first one really is that a good understanding of law and the legal system is really essential to being a good citizen and understanding the world around you. Law is all around us, and you just have to pick up a newspaper or read the story on the news online to see that law and legal aspects of news stories are everywhere. And so it really just makes you better able to deal with those issues. It's also great as a tool for professional development. Many careers require some ability to know something about the law. And having that extra knowledge about the law will be, a real asset for you in your particular career. And it really allows you to stand out in a competitive job market, right? It's a plus that you can add to your other credentials to show that you have also some really good background knowledge of law that will allow you to be even more desirable as an employee. So who takes a certificate in law? Well, we have a wide diversity of students, and this is one of the greatest things about the program. We have undergraduate students who are currently taking undergraduate programs at university, or some college students as well. We also have professionals who are in various careers who take our courses again for professional development, and they are in areas as diverse as education, government and politics, business, engineering. I mentioned already. Some are working at law firms. We have people working in arts and media companies. And as a student, you really get to benefit from that diversity of your fellow students and get their perspectives and their experiences as well. So it really is, a great asset for the program that we have such a diverse group of students.
So thank you so much, Hugo, for
Thank you,
talking
Christine.
about the program. So we now have Amanda Blair, who will talk about the admissions process.
Thanks, Christina. So the first page that we're going to discuss is for students who are taking the program as on-campus students or students completing a degree, whether that be on campus or as a distance student. So these students are able to, so the program structure for this is that you would need to complete your first 2 courses at the 200 level. And these 2 courses at the 200 level can be used as electives towards your degree program. And you would be assessed your home faculty tuition fees. Now, on-campus students have the option of substituting a core course for a 200 level course. Only a 200 level course. Unfortunately, they can't be used to substitute for a 700 level course. So Commerce 382 can be used in lieu of Law 204, which is corporate law, EMPR 210 in lieu of workplace law, which is Law 203, and Philosophy of Law 318 can be used for any one of the 7 200 level courses that we have. So the next step would be then to complete 2 courses at the 700 level. These courses do not count towards your degree program, but they are included in your Queen's GPA, and you would be assessed the Faculty of Law tuition rates for that. Just wanted to see, I think that's it for that page, Christina. So the next one is for distance students who are completing it, as well as the non-degree interest. So these students would need to complete all 4 courses at the 700 level and at the Faculty of Law tuition rate. We always recommend, not just for external students and interest students, but on campus as well, that it's recommended that you start with Introduction to Canadian Law. So with interest students, the difference is that when you get admitted to the program, so there is no supporting documentation for an interest student. So you would need to complete your first 2 courses at the 700 level rate. As long as you meet academic progression, which is a minimum final grade of C+, you would meet that criteria, and we would then be able to matriculate you into the program so you can complete the 2 remaining courses. If for any reason, and it goes for all categories, on campus, external, and interest, if you don't meet the academic progression of the C+ in one of our courses, you have the option to either retake the course or you can take one of the other courses that we offer. So this is our course offering schedule. For this upcoming summer term, we have Introduction to Canadian Law, Aboriginal Law, Corporate Law, Public and Constitutional Law, and Intellectual Property Law. When it comes to the fall and winter term, Introduction to Canadian Law is offered every term as an online course, as well as an in-class course that is taught by Hugo. And so the next, in fall term, you have Aboriginal law, corporate law, and international law. And in winter term, we have workplace law, public and constitutional law, and intellectual property law. So what I do recommend to students is that they go to our website, takelaw.ca, to our About page. And this is where they can view the course offering schedule. So you can better plan out your how you want to take the courses and when you want to take the courses. So the next, always a big question is, how much does it cost? So there is a $100 application fee that is, it is submitted to undergrad admissions office at the time of submitting your application. You could do credit you can pay by MasterCard, Visa, or prepaid Visa. Unfortunately, at this time, credit debit is not accepted. And then for the 200 level courses, as I mentioned, you would be assessed your home faculty tuition rates. And 700 level courses, so as an example, if you're a domestic student within Ontario, the fee is $1,134. If you're a domestic student but outside of Ontario, the total would be $1,249 per course. Students who are part-time are eligible for financial aid. Those non-degree interest students are not. However, you could be eligible after you completed your first 2 courses. Textbooks, and they vary from cost anywhere from about $70 to $150. So if you go to the takelaw.ca page and go to our courses page, down at the bottom of each course page, there is a textbook materials. You can purchase the textbook as an electronic hard copy. It's totally up to you and what your preferences are. You can purchase directly from the Queen's Campus bookstore. And just one other thing to note is that Aboriginal law and public and constitutional law do not have mandatory textbooks. So all your readings are actually provided within the OnQ, which is your course materials are located.
Thank you so much, Amanda. And we will be providing an email with resources about this information as well. So you could check on it later. And you could also email Amanda for any questions. We will be providing the contact information shortly.
Perfect. So so part of the admissions again is that, so if you are as long as you've completed 1 year of studies at a recognized university and your GPA is 2.6 or higher and you submit an application, you will be offered admission providing you submit your official transcript. For students who are at a recognized college and have a 2-year diploma or 2 years of a 3-year full-time advanced diploma, the minimum GPA is 2.9. And as we mentioned before, as an interest student, no supporting documentation is required from you. The only criteria is that you must be 21 years of age or older at the time of submitting your application. So currently we're accepting applications for summer 2024. So that closes on April 1st, sorry, and with courses starting on May 6th.
Thank you so much, Amanda. Just to add, for interest students, these are for people who just want to take individual courses and not necessarily the full program. So if you just want a taste of Introduction to Canadian Law or any of the summer offerings, you could apply as an interest student. So next we have Lisa Latour-Colby, who is currently a certificate in law student, who will share her experience in the program.
Thank you, Christina. Welcome, everybody. I feel privileged to be asked to be here today with you, and we appreciate the time that you're taking out of your day to learn more about this fantastic program. So I am a human resources professional. I've been working in employee and labor relations and human resources for over 20 years now. I am currently the Director of Human Resources for the Faculty of Law at Queen's, which is initially how I learned about the program. Before joining the faculty in 2022, I worked for nearly 20 years in our Central Human Resources Department in the Employee and Labor Relations function. So I work very closely with both our in-house counsel and external counsel as it related to workplace issues. So really had a very solid foundation in terms of workplace law, labor standards, employment standards. So when I learned about the Certificate in Law program, I thought it was a natural evolution to learn more about other areas of the law, particularly since now I'm supporting the HR function for our faculty. I really wanted to get a broader understanding and knowledge of exactly what it is that we're offering. And so it really was, I was motivated just intrinsically. I am, as it probably you hear a lot of people say, intrinsically motivated. I am a lifelong learner. In addition to having my designation as a certified professional human resources leader, I have a diploma in human resources from St. Lawrence College, a Master's of Industrial Relations from Queen's. And so I thought that this was a natural evolution to continue on my learning journey. My experience with the program has been very positive to date. I'm currently taking my third course. I'm taking workplace law at the moment. I did start with the introduction to Canadian law, and I echo Amanda's recommendation to take that first because it really gives you a taste and a flavor of different areas of law within the Canadian jurisdiction. And it really helps you, if you're planning to take the full certificate, identify those areas and courses that you may be interested in learning more about. After taking Introduction to Canadian Law, I took Corporate Law, which, to be honest, I really enjoyed that section in Introduction to Canadian Law and had very little understanding about the governance of different organizational structures, shareholders, etc. So it was such an incredible learning opportunity to really just get a better sense of that area. Embedded in many of the programs and all of the courses I've taken so far is opportunity for group work. So you really do get that chance to network with other students, many of which is a good mix of undergraduate students and other professionals who are taking the course for different reasons, either professional development opportunities for themselves, expanding their knowledge in different areas. They might be independent business owners or just looking to have a general interest in the law and learning more about that. So far it's been great. I have one course to go. I just thought I would touch a bit upon the convenience and flexibility that Hugo mentioned earlier. This program certainly does allow for that in terms of the number of courses you're taking and when. Because I work full time and also have a somewhat young family, I decided to take summers off. And so that also gives me the flexibility I need to make sure that I'm balancing all of those commitments and making sure that attention and focus is being provided to my family, to my career, but also to my own continuous learning. The other note I would just make on that, though, is depending on your personal situation, while there is flexibility, each of the courses do have a predefined schedule in terms of assignments and due dates. And so what I've learned and what I've put in place is really just a schedule for myself to make sure I'm staying on track so that I don't fall behind. And it gives me the balance that I need in order to ensure I'm meeting all of my personal and work-related commitments on time. So there definitely is that flexibility. In terms of what it can offer to you, I've taken it because I think it's a great opportunity just to be able to have a better sense of the different areas of law available, where my interests might go from here. Still a question mark. Certainly, I love the field of human resources, employee and labor relations, so I don't see myself departing from that, but just better understanding different areas, you really do see it in everyday life, and it really gives you an opportunity to view things differently and from a different lens. And so I've really appreciated that perspective of it. I think for some, particularly those who may be newer in your career journey or looking to make a change, I do think it also gives you an opportunity to set yourself apart in the professional workplace by demonstrating that you have the ability to continue your professional development, that you've taken the initiative to do so, and you either have those additional courses that you've taken that you can draw upon in the different fields that you might go in, or the certificate, which will then set you apart from others. And so just overall, my experience has been positive, very positive. I'm looking forward to taking Aboriginal Law, which will be my final course in the fall of 2024, and just continuing to support this program and really just answer any questions someone may have. I think it's a great program, and please let us know if you have any questions and how we may be able to support your journey.
Thank you so much, Lisa, for sharing that. It's very inspiring and admirable that despite a full-time job, you're able to take the courses, and it just demonstrates to the flexibility of this program and how it accelerates any career in that sense. Okay, so with that, we will now open the floor for questions. The Q&A box is open and we will be answering the questions as they come. So let me just quickly stop sharing my screen and look at the box. So the first question is admissions related. So if you are a Queen student, do you need to apply for the certificate for the first two courses? Can you take the two courses first and then apply to the program? So I will direct this to Amanda.
Yep, so the short answer is yes. So students are able to, you're not sure if you want to commit entirely to the program and do the 4 courses. On-campus students, current Queen students, are able to take the first 2 courses at the 200 level. And to use those as electives towards your program. If you decide down the road that you want to pursue the program and you apply and you are admitted, then those 2 courses that you've taken will be retroactively counted also towards the certificate once you've been admitted.
Thank you for that. The next question is either for Hugo or Amanda. For online study, how many weeks are the courses? When is the start date and the end date? Is the course scheduled at the same time every week?
Yeah, I can maybe start with that one. So the courses run for a full term, so they're 12 weeks long. And usually there's a week break in there as well, both in the fall and the winter term. As far as the course being scheduled, so the course material is delivered largely online. And so you can kind of, there are activities that come up at the end of either, some courses are organized by week and some are organized by module. And there's usually some activity that comes due at the end of that module. But within the module, you're free to do the materials when you want. There's also in every course some activities that are what we call synchronous activities, where you might be required to be on a Zoom call like this for a group activity. And usually those you get to sign up for before the course starts. So you know when they're going to be. And when there's more than one, they will be at the same time, on the same day and the same time. So that allows you to plan ahead and stay in line with your schedule.
Thank you, Hugo. The next question is for Amanda. If I take 2 700 level courses as an interest student, can I matriculate into the certificate?
Yeah, so that's, so as an interest student, you would take the first 2 courses at the 700 level. And providing that you do meet the academic progression, which is the minimum final grade of C+. So say as an example, you take, 2 courses in the summer term, and at the end of the term, when your final grade's released, if it shows that you've met, you've gotten a B and an A in those courses, then we'll automatically matriculate you into the program as a certificate in law student, where you can complete the 2 remaining courses. So what happens in that case is that once you have your academic program has changed from an interest to a certificate in law student, you'll receive an email from us notifying you of this change.
Thank you so much, Amanda. The next question, I will direct this to Lisa, who is a current student. For online group work, how well does this work as most people are juggling work and family, etc.?
That's a really great question. And as a professional interest student, my current group, we have a mix of professional interest students with families as well as undergraduate students who have different schedules. And so what is really great about our current offering is that there were so many different times that we can select in terms of individual needs. So for example, there are simulation sessions in workplace law. So those would be, you have to attend those in person online at the same time. But there were so many options to choose from. I selected Saturdays at 6:30 p.m. because for my personal situation, that just worked best. And I knew that I would be available, which is also why others, for their own personal reasons, selected that session. And then we were grouped together. Where there is more flexibility in terms of prepping for your group, because there might be assigned dates or sessions that you need to attend live, you can work together with your group to find out what works best in terms of prepping. And so in previous courses as well, that worked where we would meet, you have each other's email addresses. We tended to share our cell phones so that we can text. So as a group, we can determine what works collectively for all of us. And so it really has not been a barrier, because I think based on what you're selecting, you're kind of grouped together in terms of those times. So it's worked out really well. And in addition, it really gives you an opportunity to meet others from across the country at different stages of their education and professional careers, and you're just continuing to build your network.
That's a great answer. Thank you so much for sharing that, Lisa. So the next question is either for Hugo or Amanda. Well, more for Amanda, actually. What is the difference between the 200 and 700 level courses, and when should you enroll in either?
So it's more basically, it's based on the category that you're in. So if you are a distance student or an interest student, you are required to take all 4 courses at the 700 level. So where you would enroll in a 200 level course is if you're an on-campus current Queen's student taking the program, or not taking the program, because you are able to take those 2 courses without admission to the program. So the 200 level is for those students taking them as electives. And then the 2 remaining courses again would be at the 700 level. So it's more based on an administrative level and that. So you, but as an example, if you were on Solus and you were a distance student and trying to enroll in a 200 level course, you wouldn't be, it wouldn't let you. It would give you an error message for that. And just as much if you are a current on-campus student and you've already taken the 2 courses at the 200 level, and you go to enroll in a 3rd course at the 200 level, it'll actually give you an error message saying that the next step would be to complete them at the 700 level.
Perfect. Thank you so much, Amanda. The next question is either for Hugo or Amanda. How many years or semesters do you have to complete the courses for the certificate?
So I can take this. So the program is a part-time program, there is no specific duration in which you need to complete. And I think Hugo addressed this where, you know, in one of the earlier slides where you can enroll, you can complete it, the 4 required courses in as little or as much time as needed. So, so you could do it in, you know, 2 terms, 3 terms, or we have some students that take 2 to 3 years, as Lisa mentioned in her one of her answers, is that she decided to take the summers off so she could be with her children and do other activities in that. So it's kind of based on your availability and what works best for your schedule.
Thank you, Amanda. I think the next question is still going to fall under your turf. Could you tell us a bit more about the alternate courses? What are they about, and when would one take them? So for this question, I'm not sure if this attendee is asking about the substitute courses or the course offerings for the summer, but maybe you could speak a bit about both.
Yeah, I would assume it's probably based on the courses that on-campus students can take, the alternate courses.
Yeah.
So those courses that I spoke to, the Commerce 382, Philosophy of Law 318, and EMPR 210, are actually not able to be taken by distance students unless you're completing a degree program or taking courses already at Queen's. So those students would be for on-campus students. So as an example, a commerce student that has taken Commerce 382 could take that course in lieu of corporate law. EMPR 210 is Employment Relations 210, and that course could be taken in place of workplace law. And Philosophy Law 318 can be taken in place of any one of the 200 level courses. So those courses, those 3 courses can be used as substitute courses for our 200 level. Unfortunately, they cannot be used as substitute for a 700 level course.
Okay, thank you, Amanda. I will direct this next question to Lisa and expound more on the other platforms that are used to deliver the courses for certificate in law. So do the courses use Zoom? And I'll just add to that, what are the other delivery methods that are used in the program or the courses?
Sure, I'm happy to answer that. And so OnQ is the learning management system used by Queen's. So all of the course videos, modules, assignments are organized within OnQ for each course that you take. So it is quite simple to understand sort of what the expectations are as a student within each course and to organize yourself to know when your deliverables are. So as long as you have access to the internet as a Queen student, you would get your student ID and password, and that would allow you access to the OnQ platform in order to get your coursework. And that's also how you submit your assignments, is all through that OnQ platform. In terms of different simulations, or some professors may look to hold either a town hall or full class meeting to give updates, answer questions. In my experience, those have been on Zoom, which most students have access to. If you're unable to attend, most of them are also recorded as well so that you can watch them and gain the same information at a later date that's more convenient for you in case there was a conflict to attend. Many of those are not required if they're ad hoc or additional. And so I would suggest just ensuring that you have internet access, ability to go online to the OnQ module, and ability to use Zoom is pretty much, in my experience, what I've needed based on the courses I've taken.
Thank you so much, Lisa, for your answer. The next question is for Amanda. Can the 12 credits be applied to a future Arts and Science Queen's online program?
So if you are applying to Queen's, you can speak to the undergrad admissions office to see if any of the courses can be used as transfer credits when applying to Queen's. So the short answer is you can. It's a matter of them being accepted in that, but you can definitely speak to someone in undergrad admissions about that, and they can better advise.
Thank you, Amanda. The next question might still be for you.
Yeah, it is.
Yeah, will a T2202 be issued for the certificate program for students not taking a degree program at Queen's?
So the T2202 is assessed for any student taking any course. So as long as you're paying tuition, whether you're in a degree program or an interest, you're still going to get that certificate so that you can file your taxes. It's actually located right on your Solus account. So when you get in, you can just print by February 28th of every year. It's on Solus, so you can go in and print it out so that you can use that to be included when you go to file your taxes from the previous year.
Thank you, Amanda. The next question is either for Hugo or Amanda, and I think this is more general. What time of the day do the courses run, and what days of the week?
Yeah, I can take that one. So again, there isn't really a course, so a lecture per se. Some of the courses have set sessions that are, as we say, synchronous sessions, so where you have to show up on Zoom at a particular time. But generally speaking, you would know ahead of time which session you were in, and the day and time will be the same. Other than that, the material is really delivered in the online format, and you can take the material as sort of according to your schedule. So you know, if you want to work in the middle of the night, that's up to you. You can do that, except for those specific times when you have to be at a particular time. And as Lisa mentioned, we try to offer as many options as possible because we know that our students are in different time zones and have different engagements. So those are the only requirements in terms of having to be, you know, online at a particular time.
Thank you so much, Hugo. The next question is for Amanda. If you are taking a bachelor's degree at another public university in Ontario, can these credits be transferred to your degree? Also, do you offer a discount on the tuition if you work for Queen's as a casual? What job can you, and this is for Hugo, Amanda, or Lisa. the next question is, what job can you get with this certificate later on?
So yeah, so if you're currently in another post-secondary institution, whether that be a college or university, at this time, we actually do not accept transfer credits to the certificate in law. So unfortunately, we don't offer that, but as in terms of the discount, so there is actually, I don't want to say a discount, but there is a tuition. Staff at Queen's are able to take courses. I'm not sure if this applies to a casual. Lisa, would you know that by chance?
I can confirm it does not apply to casual. There are
Okay.
eligibility criteria associated with that benefit.
Yeah, I believe it. You have to be a full-time employee. Is that not correct?
You have to be employed for at least 1 year
Okay.
at Queen's and then hold an appointment of at least 1 year's duration, generally.
Okay, perfect. So if you do meet that criteria, then yes, you could reach out to the central HR and discuss that option with them.
Thank you, Amanda. And then for this next question, I will direct it to Hugo. What job can you get with a certificate later on?
Yeah, so the certificate doesn't lead to a job necessarily, as in in some diploma programs, but it does give you an extra credential for many areas in which you can be employed. And that can be in a diverse range of areas, as we already talked. We offer courses in a wide range of areas. So, for example, if you're an engineer, and you have to deal with intellectual property in your job, it might give you a hand up and an extra credential to do the certificate and have that knowledge of intellectual property law that you can demonstrate to your employer that you do have that knowledge. And so it's really more about gaining the knowledge of the credential sort of proofs that you have. It doesn't lead specifically to a particular career path. So it's pretty versatile in that way.
Thank you so much, Hugo. The next question is for Amanda. Once the certificate is completed, can we take the 3 other courses offered, and can they be considered as additional credits on the path to an online BA at Queen's?
So yes, I've had students take all 7 of the courses. So there's 2 options in that case. If you've completed the 4 courses and you want to continue with the remaining 3, you can either, at the end of the completion of the 4th course, you can apply to graduate and get your certificate at that time. And then we can just add you in and matriculate you as an interest student to complete the 3 remaining courses. So there's that option. Or I've had students just complete all 7 courses and then submit their application to graduate within SOLAS.
Perfect.
The second part of the question was, I believe, was the transfer credits, if you could use all of them towards was that it? Sorry, Christina, the question's gone now. So
yeah, the question is, can you use the can the courses be considered as additional credits to the path to an online BA at Queen's?
Okay. So you could, if you're applying to the arts and science here at Queen's, you might be able to use 2 of the courses towards the transfer credits if you're applying towards a degree program. As an arts and science student, you're able to take no more than 6 units outside your faculty towards your degree requirements. So I believe if you were to apply, you would be able to use 2 of the courses or 6 units towards your degree requirements.
Thank you, Amanda. The next question is still for you. How do you apply for financial aid? Is it OSAP that you were referring to that only applies after you take 2 courses? If you could just clarify a bit more about OSAP.
Absolutely. Yep. So the financial aid I was referring to, it does refer to OSAP if you are within Ontario. However, it would be another, if you live in Alberta and something, or BC or something, it's another it's referred to as something else. So yeah, so if you're looking to apply to financial aid, the best course of action would be to reach out to the Student Awards Office here at Queen's University, as they'd be able to assist you further and guide you in that application process. So yeah, so OSAP. So when I spoke to the courses only after the 2 courses, that applies to if you're registered as a non-degree interest student. So students in the interest category are not eligible for not eligible for financial aid. So you wouldn't do that. However, once you've completed the first 2 courses as an interest student, and you've been matriculated into the program, you could then possibly apply to OSAP or whatever it is in your province, the financial aid, to do that, to include that. The other option, and then again, if you're a distance student taking all 4 courses so if you're a student in the program as a current student or as a distance student, you could be eligible. However, that would again then have to be, again, I definitely recommend reaching out to the Student Awards Office. So you can reach them. So if you go to our webpage, takelaw.ca, on the About page, down under the tuition information, there is a link right to their website, and they have an abundance of information if you're a student within Ontario or outside of Ontario about the different financial aids within the provinces, and you can review that and have a look at that before you reach out to their office.
Thank you so much, Amanda. The next question is for Hugo. Can the certificate be used for further education in other aspects of law?
Yeah, so the certificate itself is not a legal degree, but it does provide you with the background knowledge that will make you successful if you do choose to move forward and, for example, to go to law school, to get a JD or a law degree. You know, the admissions process for law school is very, it's not complex, but it takes into account a lot of various factors, including, you know, things like the LSAT, which is a standardized test, and your overall academic profile. But what I can say certainly for the certificate is that it will give you a better sense once you get to law school, for example, of what you are going to be doing. And we've had several of our students who have graduated from the certificate who have gone on to go to law school and you know, at Queen's and other law schools. So it certainly helps once you get there, but it's not the case that it automatically gives you an advantage in terms of applying.
Thank you so much, Hugo. So this next question is, when is the deadline to apply? For the summer term, the deadline to apply is April 1st. So please visit takelaw.ca/apply to learn more about this. The next question is for Amanda. I'm currently taking my first 2 courses for the certificate in law as an interest student. I would like to register for a 3rd one in the summer. I understand that I cannot do this until after the semester is finished and my final marks are in. I think that's to clarify it. Does the timing work out? And the second part of the question is, can I apply now to matriculate with my previous undergrad? I had registered as an interest student to meet the upcoming registration deadline. Thank you.
Okay, so to start off, if you're currently an interest student and I'm assuming you're completing your 2nd course right now. The final grades will be released May 12th, and that would be the time that I would be able to review. And as long as you've met that academic progression, which is the C+, minimum final grade of C+, I can matriculate you into the program. This doesn't deter you from going ahead and registering in your 3rd course. You can, excuse me, you can still go ahead and register in courses for the upcoming summer term. You would just do it as an interest student. And then once your final grades are released in May, we would just change it over. And then instead of it being under the interest category, we'll flip it so that it shows that it's showing under your certificate in law program. So it's under the certificate in law academic program within SOLAS.
Thank you so much, Amanda. Oh, sorry.
Yeah. Sorry, I was just gonna to the second part of the question.
Yes.
As you are, like, so it depends if you would want to be matriculated now. I would definitely recommend that you reach out to me at lawcertificate@queensu.ca so we can look into this. I'm not sure at this point, because you're in the program, if an undergraduate admissions will accept a transcript at this point, but I can say as long as you've met that academic progression in the courses this term, you'll be matriculated as a student in the program come mid-May.
Thank you so much, Amanda. Yeah, what I wanted to add earlier was, if you have questions about individual eligibility or requirements like this, you could email lawcertificate@queensu.ca. And I'll also talk about this later, but you could actually book an appointment with Amanda one-on-one to talk about your questions, and she could guide you and help you with this. So the next question is for me. Are the presentation slides available as a PDF? Yes. So after the session, all participants will be receiving an email with the PDF of the presentation, as well as the recording and other important resources about certificate in law. So please watch out for this email coming in the coming days. The next question is either for Hugo or Amanda. I'm trying to decide whether I should start with Introduction to Canadian Law or if I should go to a more specialized course right away. I am a relatively experienced risk management professional and I have an MBA degree. I'm interested in specialized topics of corporate law and intellectual property. So I'm not sure if I would get value out of Introduction to Canadian Law. And what is the Introduction to Canadian Law curriculum?
Yeah, I can start with that, and I think maybe Lisa might have some insight into this as well. And obviously the choice is yours. And one of the reasons that we don't make any of our courses prerequisites is because we recognize that students have a variety of interests and may decide to take one of our specialized courses. I would suggest, though, that particularly if you already have some knowledge, some specialized knowledge of areas of law, that Introduction to Canadian Law would be even better for you because it will provide you with that background knowledge that will allow you to better understand that specialized knowledge. So one of the things that happens in the specialized courses is that we assume certain background knowledge from our students, not a whole lot, but and so it will really just help you in understanding material better from the legal perspective, right? So often our students have a lot of subject matter expertise. I know, I teach the Aboriginal law course, and I know there's a lot of students that take that course that have a tremendous background knowledge of the issues. And what they're interested in is really the legal perspective on those issues, right? So I think that's where Introduction to Canadian Law kind of gives you an overview of all of the areas of law and the basic principles of law that will help you be successful. Lisa, I don't know if you wanted to add anything to that.
No, happy to. So I did take Introduction to Law based on Amanda's recommendation, and I felt that to be very beneficial. So I was interested in starting with workplace law because of my background as well. I thought that that would be a natural fit, but the Introduction to Law 201, really gave me that foundation that I've drawn upon in each of the courses that I've taken. And one thing, and this may just be my personal experience, because I think it really will depend on the level of expertise that you're bringing with you from your professional or personal background. Workplace law, I've really enjoyed it. It really covers the fundamentals, but because of my experience, I feel like it's more of a great refresher as opposed to where I'm learning new subject matter. So that's just something to be mindful of, where with Introduction to Canadian Law and corporate law, because there were so many themes and areas of the law that I just did not have exposure to, I learned so much. Where workplace law, I've had exposure to all of the topics that we're covering. So I'm seeing this more as a refresher. So still very valuable, just a different takeaway for me from it. So something for your consideration.
Thank you so much, Lisa. That answer is very helpful. So just as a time check, we have a few minutes left. We will try to answer as much as we can. And if we can't get to some of the questions, we will be sending an email with some of the resources to answer these. The next question is for Amanda. If there are circumstances wherein I can't make time for the courses, what is the withdrawal process, or will there be refunds for interest students?
So there, excuse me, there are, so there is, if you decide you've taken one course or, taken a course and then dropped it and decided this isn't right for you, you are able to discontinue from the program. You just have to send us an email so we can make the changes to your student account. As for refunds, also life happens, things happen. So sometimes, you're in a course in the summer term and, work puts, an extra project on you or something and you're not able to complete. Or, you just don't feel like you don't have the time or resources to spend on a course. There is a refund. There's on the undergraduate, or sorry, on the OUR website, the Office of the University Registrar website, there is a undergraduate drop date schedule. So as an example, for the upcoming summer term, courses start May 6th. If you get into the course in the first week and you realize, I just don't have the time for this, I'm going to have to defer this to another term, then you can drop the course before May 17th. with full so that you would receive a full refund. After that, there is a schedule on their website, and so it drops down to 50%, then 25%, and then you can drop, but then you wouldn't receive any fees back. So that's also, so it's located on their website as well as ours under the current students page.
Perfect. Thank you so much, Amanda. The next question is also for you. Just a brief explanation about the difference between continuing and interest students.
Yep. So the main difference is if you apply as an interest student, when you're submitting an application, you don't have to, there's no supporting documentation required. So I find sometimes, students, the interest students, sometimes you just want to take one course, or, two, and that's it. I have some students, sometimes they say, I haven't been to university in 20 years and I really don't want to go back to them and ask for my official transcript. So students will do this pathway as way. So that's the main difference, is that there's no supporting documentation. Even if you're an interest student, you can complete the program. It's just you have to meet academic progression in the first 2 courses.
Thank you so much, Amanda. The next question is for Hugo. Are there any benefits to getting a certificate as a nursing student? Do you know any nursing students that have gotten the certificate and have done something related to law in their nursing or healthcare profession?
Yeah, I think so. We don't offer a health law course per se, but there are many of our courses that would touch on aspects of health law. The Introduction to Canadian Law course, for example, would talk about tort law, which is a big, an important part of that. There's also, within Aboriginal law, we talk about Indigenous health issues and their legal implications. A course like intellectual property would, of course, talk about, intellectual property for pharmaceuticals and how that might be related. And of course, workplace law applies to any workplace that you work in. And we have had students who have been in the health field. And in fact, I know one student who, went through the certificate and then eventually as a JD student ended up working in a health law related area. So yeah, certainly we have had those students.
Thank you so much, Hugo. The next question, we can't give out contact numbers, but if you have any questions about certificate in law, you could just email lawcertificate@queensu.ca. The next question is either for Hugo or maybe even Lisa. I'm currently taking a business law course in college. Is that the same as corporate law or is it different and is it transferable? But that's more for Amanda.
In terms of the material covered, it may well be similar. There's probably, I would have to see the curriculum for the actual law course in college. Some of those courses can vary quite a bit. There's probably some overlap, but I'll let Amanda answer the question about transferability.
So at this time, the certificate in law does not offer any transfer credits into the program. So that may be something we look into for the future, but at this time, unfortunately, no, it's not something that we can use.
Thanks, Amanda. For this next question, I will paraphrase it a little. As an agent selling houses, how can the certificate be useful to this profession? So I'll direct this to Hugo.
Let me just clarify first that this doesn't give you, it's not a credential where you can become a real estate agent. There's obviously a whole other program for that. But it would provide you with some legal background that would probably be useful to you as a real estate agent, because we do talk about, we have a section on property law, for example, Introduction to Canadian Law, and things like corporate law as well would be very useful knowledge to have. When as a real estate agent. So it certainly would be beneficial to you, but it's not a credential that you can use to become a real estate agent as such.
Thank you, Hugo. So we have our last 2 questions. I will direct this to Hugo as well. Does Queen's have another certificate in law that covers some aspects of business or aspects of law? As an example, business.
Yeah, we only have the one certificate in law. There is a certificate in business, I believe, as well, that the Smith School of Business runs. But many of our courses will cover essential aspects of business law. So, for example, corporate law directly, obviously, but workplace law as well, public and constitutional law. Even in Aboriginal law, we talk about Indigenous businesses and the particular issues that relate to those. So, many of the courses would cover aspects of business law. But we only offer the one certificate program.
Thanks, Hugo. This is a very commonly asked questions. question. So confirm that we can use the certificate to get into law school. I didn't get that aspect so well.
So the certificate doesn't provide you with an entry point into law school, as in your application is going to get considered with everybody who's applying to law school, including people who don't have a certificate. What it does do is, first of all, it gets considered in terms of your GPA, and it sort of shows that you have an interest in law, which might be taken into consideration. It also, if you get accepted to law school, will provide you with some really good background knowledge that will give you a leg up in a way in first year, because many of the things you're going to be doing in the certificate in law courses are the things you're going to be doing in first year of law school. So that would be very useful to you. But it's not a direct guarantee that you're going to get into law school because you do the certificate.
Thank you, Hugo. The last question I will direct to either Hugo, Amanda, or even Lisa. What is the suggested time investment per week?
Well, we tell students, I mean, obviously I can't talk from a student perspective, so I might refer to Lisa for that. But we tell students that you can expect to invest on average anywhere between 7 to 9 hours per week per course. Now, obviously that is going to, it could fluctuate week to week depending on the assignments and the readings that you may have. I don't know, Lisa, do you have anything to add to that?
I would say that's a fair average. It certainly will depend on what your assignments are and kind of what other priorities you're balancing at the same time. However, I would just recommend you'll get out what you put in. And so making sure you're carving out the time to do all the readings to really ensure that you understand the assignments and you put that time in, you'll see it reflected in the outputs that you get from it. So it's time well invested, but an average of 7 to 9, I think, is fair.
Thank you so much, Lisa. And thank you to our panelists. That will wrap up our Q&A session. And before we end, I would just like to share some information. Thank you to everyone for joining the session this afternoon. To get more information about Certificate in Law, you could visit our website at takelaw.ca, our Instagram at Queen's U Certificate in Law, Facebook at Queen's Law Certificate, and LinkedIn at Queen's-Certificate-in-Law. And I would also like to add that if you want to connect with Amanda, our program coordinator, you could book an appointment via our website on takelaw.ca/contact. So she has a schedule for her appointments there, and you could talk to her one-on-one. Thank you so much to everyone for joining this afternoon session. Please watch out for the email that we will be sending you to get more information about Certificate in Law. And we look forward to having you in the program. Thank you and enjoy the rest of your day.